Kia ora guys, welcome back to the Black Jersey. It's your boy Max hosting the channel, and today's video is going to be another very exciting video to finish off the year that was 2021. We're less than 2 years away from a World Cup. Boy am I excited for that. And today we're going to go through the pools, who's qualified so far, how the playoffs could end up looking like, and who of course is going to be in the final and take it all out. So firstly, we have Pool A, our own pool. So the All Blacks are joined by France, Italy, and Uruguay. Africa 1 has not been qualified just yet, so I'm thinking it's probably gonna be Namibia or Zimbabwe. They're going to play each other in the semi-final by the looks of things of the Africa playoffs. And based on world rankings, they're the most likely qualifying nations to win this entry into the World Cup. Pool B is South Africa, Ireland, Scotland, and the other two nations are yet to qualify. I think this is definitely the pool of death. Asia Pacific 1 is going to be either Tonga or Hong Kong, probably Tonga in all likelihood, and they're going to be joined by Europe 2, which will be either Georgia or Romania, based on who can beat the other out. Pool C is going to be Wales, Australia, Fiji, Europe 1, so that's obviously going to be the winner of Georgia versus Romania. And the final qualifying winner is going to join Pool C as well. Based on world rankings, I believe Portugal or Spain are the most likely to fill this hole in Pool C. Then for Pool D, England, Japan, Argentina, and Samoa have qualified, and America's 2 is probably going to be Chile beating the USA. They're going to play each other very soon to determine who gets into Pool D, and I think Chile is probably a bit more likely to beat the USA than the USA is to beat Chile. So overall, there's some very strong pools in there. The most competitive ones, in my opinion, are Pool D and Pool B, because obviously Japan, England, Argentina, Scotland, Ireland, and South Africa are all classed as Tier 1 nations, now that Bill Beaumont has elevated Fiji and Japan to Tier 1 nations. Very, very tough pools over there. I believe it's going to be quite easy to determine some of the pools in comparison to the others. So the first quarter final is going to be the Pool C winner versus second place in Pool D. The Pool C winner, I think, is going to be Australia. Dave Rennie is a far better coach than quite a lot of his predecessors in Australia. And although Australia is never going to win the Bledisloe Cup again, I do believe they've got quite a good chance of making it out of that pool. A lot of Wales players are going to be very, very old and possibly past the best of their career by the time it's the 2023 World Cup. This is just based on my analysis of how the team is looking today. This can of course change. I then believe second place in Pool D is going to be Japan beating Argentina. Japan's made a lot of progress in the last 10 years, whereas Argentina, they've kind of stagnated a bit, apart from beating the All Blacks ever since 2015. So I believe Japan is going to edge out Argentina, and it'll be Australia versus Japan in the first quarterfinal. Then for the second quarterfinal, it's going to be the Pool B winner versus Pool A second place. This young French team, guys, they are looking absolutely brilliant. So I think that us, the All Blacks, are going to be second in our pool, and we're obviously going to be playing against South Africa. South Africa's style of play is going to negate the Irish style of play very well. So I see the second quarterfinal being South Africa versus New Zealand. Then over to the third quarterfinal, it's quite easy to pick who's going to win Pool D, because this is going to be Pool D winner versus Pool C second place. England's got a very young team. They've got one of the best coaches in the history of world rugby. They've got a classy leadership group, Owen Farrell, Courtney Laws, and everything's looking so much better now that the likes of the Vunipola brothers and George Ford have left the team. Jamie George is still playing well enough as well. England is the clear favourite to top Pool D, so they're obviously going to be in the quarterfinal 3. And in the quarterfinal 3, I think that Fiji are going to be facing England. Wayne Pivac, who is the current Welsh coach, funnily enough, coached Fiji in the 2007 World Cup. And Fiji beat Wales in 2007 with Wayne Pivac running the ship at Fiji. So it'll be some pretty cool poetic justice to see Wayne Pivac lose to Fiji, unlike when he beat Wales with Fiji back in the day. I just don't have a lot of faith in Wales right now. Their squad's not looking very good. It's starting to look very old. The tactics have got a bit stale. Things haven't really changed too much since Gatlin left. I don't really rate Wayne Pivac as a coach. So yes, quarterfinal 3, I think will be England versus Fiji. England's obviously going to blow Fiji out of the water right there. Then when we come to the last quarterfinal, so quarterfinal 4, that's obviously the winner of Pool A, so France, as I discussed before, and the Pool B second place. Ireland and Scotland are going to have a real hard time getting out of the pool. I just think Ireland has just that bit of edge over Scotland. Scotland only have 2 clubs that are professional in the whole country right now, whereas the Irish are looking like the All Blacks from 4 years back. They're looking very mentally sharp, although I do believe that James Ryan will have taken over as the captain by this stage. So yes, the quarterfinals, just to recap, I think it'll be Japan versus Australia, South Africa versus New Zealand, England versus Fiji, and France versus Ireland, which brings us into the semi-finals. So semi-final 1 is going to be the quarterfinal 1 winner versus quarterfinal 2 winner. I think this is going to be Australia beating Japan. Kind of obvious there, although it's going to be a lot closer than Japan used to get from Australia 20-30 years back. I then think we're going to be able to beat South Africa in our quarterfinal. South Africa is in a pretty rough spot, kind of like Wales. They've got a very aging squad right now, and so when you're bringing in a young team too close to a World Cup, it can backfire on you, as we saw with Eddie Jones in England in 2019. He got them all the way to the final and they just choked so bad. South Africa, I think, will have a similar problem in 2023, and I don't believe they're going to be able to defend the title. So yeah, semi-final 1, Australia versus New Zealand, a bit of a battle for the Bledisloe once again. 2 bad World Cup matches don't count towards the Bledisloe Cup. Now the second semi-final, guys. So that's quarterfinal 3 versus quarterfinal 4's winners. So I think this is going to be England versus France. England are going to absolutely smash Fiji in the quarterfinal if that's who they play. Then obviously France just have the upper hand over Ireland. Ireland against the All Blacks did score more tries than us, but ultimately it was the last few penalty kicks that goal which put the scoreline out of reach. France just have such an enthusiastic young team with a lot of running rugby, whereas Ireland just don't have a good history at World Cups. So until they finally start making semi-finals, I'm not going to bet $1 of my money on them getting out of a quarterfinal. So I think the second semi-final is going to be a England versus France game, and whoever wins this game is probably going to win the World Cup. So the 2 semi-finals, New Zealand versus Australia and England versus France. So we know for a fact that the World Cup final will be a Northern Hemisphere country versus a Southern Hemisphere country. Now, Dave Rennie is definitely a better head coach than Ian Foster. I don't have a lot of faith in Ian Foster. Yeah, we're going to be able to make the semis for sure. We've got so much talent, but at the end of the day, I do think Dave Rennie's coaching ability will finally catch up to Fozzie's, and this will ultimately lead to our demise, and I think we're going to be going into the bronze final. With England versus France, France will have a bit more experience on their side, but this experience is going to be coming from younger bodies than the English bodies, and Fabien Galtier, I think, is going to go down as one of the best coaches in World Rugby's history, following France's performance at their home World Cup. I think France and Australia will play each other in the final, and we're going to play England in the bronze final. To be honest, I don't have a lot of faith in us winning that either. I do believe England are going to get quite angry over getting eliminated from the competition, and England will have no problem taking it out on the All Blacks. Whereas the All Blacks in the past have had a lot of trouble understanding Northern Hemisphere tactics, so England definitely have an advantage over us in the bronze final. I think England will win third place. Now for the most important part of the video. Thank you for sticking with the video this far into it, the World Cup final. So Australia, they don't have a lot of depth now, do they? France, they've got depth for days. And because a lot of players will have been injured by this point, France will be in a much better situation than Australia. I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and ever since 2019, before South Africa even won that World Cup, I was thinking to myself, France have got some really good up-and-coming youngsters, and imagine how good they're going to be in 2023. Romain Ntamack, Anton Dupont, Gregory Aldrit will all be at the peak of their powers. Demba Bamba's going to have become a regular starter by that point. Charles Olivon will still be playing, and I think he is going to be the man that lifts the Webb Ellis Cup. France will win the 2023 World Cup, I believe. I will make another update on my prognostics for this potential winner in a year's time, just to fact check myself, see what's changed. So yeah, this is my prediction of the 2023 World Cup winner less than 2 years out at the end of 2021. Please let me know what you think of a potential French win in the comments. Let me know who you believe is going to make it out of the playoffs. Also, don't ever forget to like this video, leave another kind of comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and you're always welcome to support the Black Jersey everywhere else we are present. Me and my team are present on Instagram. We're building a website to write our journalism. We have a Discord server, and I myself, I've got a Patreon and a subscribe star for anyone that just wants to make a small monthly donation. Thank you so much once again for watching the video, guys. I'm predicting France to win, and I'll see you later.